Hi friends, we are going to discuss about process simulators and process simulation. This will be part of modeling and simulation course which is being taught here at NIRMA. And the prerequisite for process simulation is modeling. And modeling involves mathematical derivations of or mathematical descriptions of the physical processes which we have studied. So it can be some distillation column, it can be a reactor, it can be simple stirrer, it can be a mixture, it can be anything which needs to get converted into a mathematics, and then in order to get some desired output we need to solve those equations. Now when we want to solve those equations, at times we need some computational help in this. The reason for having computational help mainly are two. One, the solution process is complex in nature, and for that we require computational support. Secondary, the solution process is not very complex in nature, but then it requires a tiresome or a tedious job. Like it requires so many calculations to be done, which if you do manually can take hours and hours together, which with the help of a computation tool can be done in fraction of minutes or maybe seconds, depending upon what computational tool you are using. And hence once we develop a model, in order to get a desired output, the knowledge of process simulation or process simulator is very important. And throughout this video series we are going to discuss about process simulation and simulators. However, I would like to differentiate between a simple simulator or simulation and a process simulator or a process simulation. Any mathematical process can be considered as a model, and solution to that can be considered as a simulation. Now when I say solution to that, solution by means of some computational tool can be considered as a simulation. However, when we are talking about chemical engineering, any particular chemical engineering process, when it is get converted into a mathematics, it becomes a process model. And when we solve that with the help of a specific kind of simulators which has inbuilt database of the chemical compounds, properties, thermodynamic models, they are called process simulators. So when we use them, it becomes process simulators. So this will be cleared as we proceed further, but there are some mathematical tools which we already know, like you have got Excel, you have got Mathematica, you have got MATLAB, you have got Scilab. These are all mathematical tools to be used as a simulators, but they are not process simulators. However, the process simulators are the ones which have inbuilt process data into it, inbuilt process knowledge into it, and as we proceed further we will discuss some of them. So let's start with the first presentation, wherein we talk about this many things. We talk about commercial simulators and their usage, structure of the simulators, talk about introduction to simulation, where we talk about the applications in industry, various kinds of problems encountered in simulation, approaches to the simulation, and prerequisites of the simulation. Out of various prerequisites, one I already mentioned is modeling, second is degree of freedom. We'll talk about degree of freedom in detail, and then we'll summarize the things. So this will roughly take some 6 to 7 videos to cover this entire things, because we are going to stretch a bit on approaches to simulation where we talk about the structure of different kind of simulations, like modular mode or equation oriented mode. So we'll take some time in describing that. Starting with commercial simulators. Before that, we'll discuss about what a simulator is all about. Basically, by and large, a simulator is something which gives you automated calculations. And when we talk about in chemical engineering, it can be mass and energy balance, it can be estimation of some physical property, it can be designing something, it can be rating something. The rating word, it might be new to you, it will be clarified as we proceed further. It can also help you to cost a specific process or an equipment, or it can help you to optimize a process or an equipment. So when you use an engineering tool, when you use a computational tool to perform any of this, it ends up in a simulation or a simulator. However, the tool can be a mobile phone, a calculator, it can be anything, not necessarily a computer or a laptop. There are various process simulators available in the market, and as I was talking about, there's a difference between a simulator and a process simulator. The ones which have been listed here are all process simulators because they all have inbuilt database. And what is that? I'll clarify as we proceed further. So these are all the names comes in mind of a chemical engineer when he or she talks about process simulators, and it is Aspen Plus, Aspen HYSYS, ChemCAD, Design2, Pro, and now there are plethora of such simulators. So how do I choose, you know, which one is to be used? So I often compare the simulators with mobile phones, that as such they are all delivering you the same thing. However, their way of use differs. So if I've been using, as a student, what you should know, as a student you should know at least one such simulator. If you know one such simulator, when you go to any industry, you will be able to learn the other simulator which is available in that industry very easily. Like if I have a particular make mobile, say for example Motorola. So if I have a mobile of Motorola, I have got its functions in front of me. And the moment I change the mobile from Motorola to say Sony or some other company, I would face some issues initially, but it will not be as critical as I would have faced when I have used the mobile for the first time. So naturally, if I know how to use one particular make of mobile, the other make becomes for me to learn other make becomes very easy, right? In that way, here also, if you learn any one simulator, it is sufficient for you. So as a student, don't go don't run behind learning all the simulators available. It's not required at all, and it's not possible during the 4 years of your journey, because you are not only going to learn simulators, you are going to learn so many other things. So these are various simulators, but if say for example you have to purchase a simulator for your own company, for the company where you are working, in general how a company selects or zeroes in on a simulator, and that is where these things comes into the picture. A simulator is always evaluated based on these many things, and these things are type of components and number of components. Now when I talk about number and type of components, what I mean that, as I told you, every process simulator has inbuilt database, and inbuilt database of what? Of its components. So say for example when I talk about a particular component, say water. So all the physical process properties associated with water gets activated in that simulator. Now it is its vapor pressure data, heat capacity data, critical properties, estimation of density, heat, everything comes in front of the user. User can use it. So what kind of components are there as an inbuilt in the particular simulator? That is the first thing you have to check. Second thing which you have to check is which kind of thermodynamic models and solvers are present in that simulator. Because if my company is using a specific kind of chemical, and if it requires a special chemical, a special thermodynamic model to deal with it, like say for example electrolyte, and for electrolyte the thermodynamic model is completely different. So I may be using equation of state, I may be using activity coefficient, but within that also there are models which deals with electrolytes. So whether that particular simulator gives me that model or not is very important for me. Number of unit operation it can handle. Like there are simulators wherein you don't have unit operation which can handle solids. Now if your industry is working with solids and your simulator is not able to operate solid operating unit operations, it doesn't make sense to you to buy that particular simulator. So number of unit operation it can handle. Now, in fact, nowadays almost every simulator comes with it, but whether you can write your own code and attach it to the simulator or not. So if you can do that, that will help you, because there is something is missing later on. Maybe at this particular time when you are going to purchase, you put everything in the simulator. Later on the need arises. So you should be able to add that in your simulator. Your simulator should be seamlessly be attached to other simulators. It should be possible. Like there are specific simulators for heat exchanger designing, like HTRI. Now this particular process simulators are more for material balance, energy balance, and to some extent controlling. However, they are not very good for designing, whereas HTRI is completely designed in fabrication for heat exchangers. So if I have a heat exchanger in my company, I should be able to send the data from, say for example, as an HYSYS to HTRI, get the heat exchanger fabricated there. All required data comes back to me, and I should be able to do the costing analysis in the HYSYS. So there should be a two-way communication between HYSYS and HTRI, or for that matter, any particular simulator which you have. And naturally, the important other aspect is the user interface. User interface means the person who is using that simulator should be able to feel that he is working with a particular chemical industry. So user interface has to be an important aspect, though it is not technically one of the aspects, but yes, when I open the simulator I should feel that I am working with some process tools. So user interface is something which is very important for us to consider. So we'll discuss more in our